I remember carpool, my dad picking you up and having to shine the lights in your bedroom so that you would get up. And we would almost be late to swim practice because we had to wait for you to get out of bed.
Was that common?
That was.
Oh, it was almost daily.
Daily.
It was almost daily.
Daily. And then I can remember afterwards going back to your house and getting ready for school and riding our bikes to Brookside.
Yeah.
From your house.
And mine was the only car that got stuff stolen out of it all the time.
Wonder why?
I never locked it. And we lived in it was a different town. It was this town was much smaller.
Yeah.
And the team was much smaller.
Yes.
I mean, we had this
was our whole pool.
Not this physical one, but this was actually bigger than the pool that we trained in.
When Trippy and I started, it was in 1982. We swam at Kensington Park behind a church in a 6-lane pool that housed the whole team.
Yep.
And Kim Linehan at that time had just qualified for the Olympics swimming out of that facility.
Well, she made the team. So I joined the team in 79.
Okay. And she made it in 80.
And she made it in 80, and she didn't get to go, and that was what kind of started me. I told my parents, I said, I'm going to the Olympics one day when she didn't get to go. And of course my parents looked at me and they're like, you're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. So, but she was training, she's not at Florida.
No,
was
she's
training
at
out in Texas.
Yep.
And then she made it. We were just we're 12,
yep.
13 when she made the second team, and it's weird for a guy I think it's weird for a guy to say, but she was my hero. She was a superstar.
She was a Sarasota superstar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and Trippy and I did all of middle school and high school together, and always carpooled. The swimmers would come into the cafeteria, and it would be a free-for-all for everybody would bring all the food that we had, and we would have 30 minutes to eat as fast as we could.
Yeah.
To go.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
We're not just friends.
We're good friends.
No, we're family.
We are family.
We are. We're still family, and it wasn't just us.
No, it was
our teammates were family too. I mean, yeah, it was dysfunctional family. There
were some questionable siblings, but everybody was in it together. We were all there together, and I got the privilege of watching Trippy train, and you knew he was going to be really good. And my mom would always say and he was funny and goofy, and that was the great part of Trippy. He never took it too seriously. Mm-hmm. He kept it real, but you could watch him walk up behind the block, and I could tell by the look in his eye what kind of race it was going to be. And when it was that certain look, it was like lights out. The sky was the limit, and we called it the eye of the tiger back then. And that was remember we would all go see the Rocky movies together as a team?
Yeah, oh yeah,
we
absolutely.
all went to the Rocky. And so he would go, and there's a lot of elite athletes here, but when you see somebody with that level, it's like, oh wow, that's different. And you knew it when it happened. But humble and kind, and always a teammate for everybody that wasn't that good, which all of us weren't that good.
How much did I promise to pay you for that?
You don't have enough money.
But I never thought of myself as anything other than just another teammate, and the only difference between me and anybody else was I just wasn't willing to quit. Yep. And you were family. I was so mad at you when you decided you weren't going to go to school or swim in school.
I know.
I was so mad at you. I was like, but Miss, in half of our class.
Yeah.
Half of our class, like, yeah, I'm done. Yeah. I was like, no, you got more, because you were talented as hell, and you trained harder than almost anybody. No. You came to a point in your life, and you said, I don't need to do this anymore. But no, the thing that you didn't realize is that the Sharks are going to be part of your family for the rest of your life.
Well, exactly, and they have. I swam here, then Carter swam. My son swam here for 10 years. What it means to be a Shark is my entire lifetime in Florida has been with the Sharks in my heart. When I moved here from Michigan, and within 48 hours of being in the state of Florida, my dad had me at the Euclid Y trying out for the Sarasota Sharks. And I could hardly get down one lap. And he kept taking me back, and he kept taking me back. So, and finally, it became part of my family, it became our culture of our family, became friends, lifetime friends. Mm-hmm. And then that transcended transcended to my son swimming for the Sharks for 10 years here. And always the volunteering and being part of this, it becomes in your blood. So once it's there, it never goes away. That's what being a Shark means. And I swim masters. I swam this morning, and I'm on the board. So to me, it's a lifetime commitment of something really great.
Well, I think, first of all, starting off as a young Shark, and I did swim before I joined the Sharks very briefly for a club team that was here and doesn't exist and hasn't existed in 40 years. But becoming a part of the Sharks was a much bigger entity. It was a much bigger than myself. And when I joined, I remember the kid who used to kick my butt up and down the pool, Doug Walker. He used to beat we had the same birthday. He used to beat my butt up and down the pool every day. But it was bigger than what I came from, and it was instantly a family atmosphere. And that was the great part about it. And it wasn't just us as swimmers that were family. It was the extended family of all the other parents just took us in. And it was and still is. It's a great environment. It's a great entity and organization. And as I progressed through my swimming life, I figured it out that I had 27 different coaches in swimming from the time I first started until the time I left the sport. And but I never really left the sport. But when I was here as a Shark, I had 17 different coaches, and those were 17 different parents.
Yep.
And that helped form who I became. And those are people that some people had less impact, some people had huge impacts in my life, and I every day I take some of those lessons and I utilize the ones that work for me, and the things that might have been occasionally a bad example. I don't want to do those things. But I had an incredible experience growing up in this town with the best program in the country, and it was and still is. And I even swam for the Sharks at trials in '96 yep. because I want to represent my hometown. I mean, yeah, I'm swim for Tennessee. I swim for everything, all these other things, but I'm still a kid from Sarasota. And I wanted to represent Sarasota again, and I got the opportunity to do that. And post swimming, I've come back here and raised my kids here, and I can tell you, I really didn't want either one of my kids to swim, and that was a little bit selfish on my part. But as soon as my kids got the bug, they've been back here. My daughter is getting ready to graduate from here. Toby graduated out of the Sharks program, and they both got awesome lessons for life.
Yep.
Hard work, determination, goal setting, things that we as parents try to impart on your kids. But as a coach and as a team, they have the ability to talk to the kids in a way that we don't get to as parents. And I think that's an awesome thing to have that outside influence. And it's an incredible influence. It kept me from going to jail. And look, I became a cop. Yay!
And now he's a cop.
Yeah, well, only for a couple more months. But it's and my wife, had it not been for the Sharks,
you wouldn't have met your wife.
I would not have met my wife when we were
she was
11.
My best friend.
11 years old.
When we were 11, yep.
11 years old. She moved to Sarasota and became a Shark, and I used to chase her around. Preface this: our old pool had lasagna and mushrooms. Uh-huh. They were actually concrete structures that were ridiculously from the 60s. And but I used to chase my wife around. She wasn't my wife then, because little boys back then were mean to little girls that they liked. And she moved away when she was 12.
Yep.
And she was just under 2 years here. No, it was a news article in the Denver Post, and her mom saw it. She didn't even see it. She had just graduated from school.
Saw it?
I just graduated from UNLV, and her mom saw it and made her call me.
I love that.
That was a crazy conversation, and I had just come back from South America, and I called my mom, and I was like, "Do you remember Heather Chapel?" Because I don't remember Heather Chapel. She's like, "Oh, you used to." And then I started visiting 12-year-old Heather Chapel.
And all of us used to run around all those structures.
You did too. We all chased these. Yeah. I chased everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, and went out on one. Wasn't even supposed to be a date, and I knew I was done. So, fast forward to today. This is 30 years for us as a married couple, and
And it all began
here
at the Sarasota Sharks.
Yep. It all began with the Sharks.
I walk on this pool deck to time at flags or something, and it could have been 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or when we were swimming it. The same things are still the tradition of excellence still exists here the way it did.
So it's a family. It's the coolest family there is, and to all those Sharks that matriculated before us, and all those that come after us, you're part of a family that's bigger than you know. And you might not
go away.
Yeah, it doesn't go away. And you might not recognize that, though, until you're a little bit older. And you can kind of reflect back and you go, man, I had some awesome, awesome times and awesome memories. And you have something to go back to.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
So FTT, to me, is the thing that makes the Sharks stand out. It's not who's the fastest. It's not who is the most elite. This organization is as excellent as it is because it has always been FTT. When you go to a swim meet and you look down the side and there's Sharks cheering each other on for people to just drop a little bit of time to make that next meet, and moms and dads and sisters and brothers and teammates, and that is a culture that has always been here. And Trippy was an elite athlete. I was not that, but that never came into. Nobody remembers what times we had back then. It was we had each other.
Well, we remember the times, not necessarily what we did in the pool.
But the times we had together, but not the times in the pool. Yeah. But it was truly I wanted what was best for him, and he and everybody else, and they did the same for us. So anyway, to me, that is what makes this such a beautiful thing. It's not about one person. It's about, and the people that are here that get that know that there was a whole group before them that believed in that. There's a group now, and if we continue to do it the right way, there'll be a whole nother generation after.
FTT obviously means for the team. As a Shark, I got up most for relay swims.
Yes. For your relays?
I also distinctly remember us coming to meets when we were juniors and seniors, where the 10-year-old kids, and just being there. And I remember Joe Gruters. Yep. Little Joe Gruters was like a 10-year-old when we were graduating. And that was what for the team meant to me. It was being there, being present, to cheer your teammates on, to rise to the occasion for your teammates, to encourage the little ones. And sometimes it didn't need to be anything more than just your presence, but I took that another step. When I was getting recruited for school, Tennessee wasn't the #1 team in the country. But when I went on my recruiting trip, I saw the bond that they were absolutely FTT, and the team came first. And within minutes, I was done. I knew I'd found the place that I'd fallen in love with it. That's where I was gonna be. And it didn't matter where I was, what meet I was at. I think that being a good teammate is one of the biggest things about being in this sport. Yes, it's an individual sport, but you can give so much of yourself that requires nothing in terms of energy and get something awesome out of it. Number one, you're getting great results because people in the pool hear you, see you. They can respond, and they do respond. But number two, what it does for your own heart. Yep. You could totally ignore your teammates and just be selfish. What does that really gain you in life? And one of the things that this program has always done is everybody gets up for everybody else. And
on and off the pool deck.
Oh, yeah.
If you needed something, something was going on in life, and life always goes on, there was your group of people that you knew you could call. You didn't have to explain anything, and they would be right next to you and be right there for you through thick and thin and good and bad. And
oh, yeah. And it still happens today.
It still is today.
Not even anything closely related to the pool. Yeah. John Kirsch.
Yeah.
One of the guys we swam with, awesome swimmer. One of my dogs tore ACL, and John was the guy we ended up taking her to. He's like, it's done. But it's a community within a community, and within another community, a community within the swimming community within Sarasota, and it's special. There's not many things that I've ever come across that are like it. The Sharks program and how much the program is team oriented really puts other programs to shame, and even as so much like we all get up for the Olympics and everybody cheers for each other, but this was so much cooler. And I can say there's no hesitation. YMCA Nationals was where that group of 52 kids came together, and you literally, yeah, me too. You literally could get to the point where you might not swim well the next day because you're cheering so much and screaming so much just to get the most out of each and every one of us. And all the parents were just the same way. And it's an incredible thing to ever have been a part of this. Mm-hmm. And occasionally I get to come back and talk to the kids. And I got to go out in Colorado and talk to all these kids that went out there for training camp. The only one that didn't listen was my daughter. But the rest of them, to have a captive audience and speaking from experience, not just as an elite swimmer. You were elite too. You just, there is no difference. There's not. My times are just a little faster. That's it.
Just a little faster.
Yeah, shut up. But that's but to be able to impart some wisdom, and you do the same thing. You've done that with your own kids, and you do that with kids that your kids swim with.
I was just at a wedding of Carter's friend that graduated swimming with him this weekend, Matt Pelton. Mm-hmm. I was just and all these swim boys came back together, and all these swim families were back together. So it's like there's FTT in the public world.
And my son's taking it to another. He's in Ranger School right now, and FTT is absolutely what it's all about. So I think that swimming brought us together.
Yep.
Swimming made us a family.
Yes.
But it was this program that made the family work.
Yes. Yep.